ठीक है 2x16 ठीक है सही है. So this is a good example of a system. Why I use this because it's very much important in terms. Most of your startups here, when you try to build products, you come up with a lot of assumptions. Or I think this is the crux of the talk that happened in the start, which Puram said. You have a lot of these assumptions कि ये चीज ही होगी, and most people think that अगर ये चल जाए. Okay. So most people think this is the actual rule, but in my case, the rule that I was actually following was this: that the next number needs to be bigger than the previous number. And this is something जो एक इसलिए ज़रा ज़रूरी है समझने के लिए, because when you're trying to solve problems for your ecosystem, there are a lot of answers that you're overlooking. There are a lot of answers in that system that you're not thinking about. So technically for me, the answer was the system मैंने डिजाइन किया था कि the next number needs to be bigger than the previous number. It didn't have to do anything with multipliers or additions. And this is what happens locally. You have a lot, when you're trying to solve a problem for a community using technology, a lot of these questions come up that you need to solve for. And you're always looking for some sense in those questions. Sometimes you won't find that because you will have to go out and test again and again, and prove your assumptions wrong to actually be able to create something that's viable for your community. So digitalization for me is the integration of digital technologies in everyday life so people can live in a better and connected world. And I love this world connected because this is a question that I have, and I want you to think on this. And I want you to think on this hard. Okay, when we talk about connections, who are we talking about? Are we talking about connections of people to people? Or are we talking about connections of people to devices? And I want you to take a moment and think about this. And I want you to give me an example. There are companies who have been able to solve this. Give me examples of any of those companies. आपको कौन सी companies से ज़हन में नाम आता है who have been able to connect people to people? Facebook. Tinder. Or?
Running economy, you're talking about Uber and Careem.
Yes, right? And I want to get to the part where I'm not talking about connecting people to people. I'm not talking about connecting people to devices. I'm talking about connecting people to someone else. And that's the state that we want to reach to, and that will come later. That's something that's very close to my heart. So I want you to tell a few stories here. These stories again are stories that I've discovered myself. These are stories that are very important. But how is it that an artist, a veiled artist, her name is Mahur Jamal, and she gets very annoyed when people call her Mahnur, so she's not Mahnur, she's Mahur Jamal from Peshawar, who the world has never seen, is able to tell her story to the world. How does it happen? It's not about connecting people to people. It's not about connecting people to devices. The second story is of Hadika Bashir. She lives in Sawat. She's working against, her fight is against child marriages. How is it that she is able to get her story on BuzzFeed while living in Sawat, where internet bhi har jagah itna available nahi hai? It's not about connecting people to people. It's not about connecting people to devices. And I want you to think about these stories and opportunities. How is it that Haris made 100 crores just by sitting in Lahore? 100 crores, which is crazy to even just think of. That this guy did it in the last 5 years. How did he do that? Not about connecting to people to people, not about connecting people to devices. And yes, this is one of my favorite ones. So how is it that I was able to connect with Augie, who's the co-founder of Wimple.com on LinkedIn, which just happened yesterday? Again, not about connecting people to people. It's about connecting. It's not even about connecting people to devices. There's something more going on here. I want you to think of that. We'll get to that. So this is what I do. I connect people, and this is something that I love. And I think being a digital evangelist, if you really want to help people get into the digital age, you need more of these evangelists, and you yourself need to become an evangelist who does not just connect people to people, and not just people to devices, but connects people to opportunities. Because digitalization is about connecting people to opportunities. And it's a bunch of experience that I have gotten after working with some of the best companies in the world, with some as a volunteer, with some as an evangelist, with some as a consultant. But I think one of the things that I've loved and I've learned from is to be at the center of not just technology, but be at the center of humanities. And I think that's one thing that's missing in Pakistan right now. Everyone talks about, yaar, hum wo app bana denge. Everyone wants to make, the next big app. किसके लिए बनाएंगे, क्यों बनाएंगे, कैसे बनाएंगे, वो कैसे use करेगा? Nobody has an idea about that. And unless you make that particular thing that is used by people, आप अगले 10 साल, 20 साल, 50 साल तक ये कहते रहेंगे कि हम app बना रहे हैं. Because your focus is on creating the end solution, not the whole ecosystem and not the whole flow. And my own story started like this. It started with a click. There are two stories that I usually mention here. Both of them are very personal. So a bunch of kids in 2007, discovered that, hey, we don't need to connect with people. We have Orchid there. एक ज़माने में वो भी होता था अगर आप लोग भी डालते हैं. And we don't want to do that. We want to do something amazing with you. So they went online. They found these amazing opportunities that the internet possesses, and they created websites. And I was one of them. I made a lot of money in the early age doing that. And while there's an opportunity to do the same now, I don't see a lot of startups doing that because the focus is not on the opportunity. The focus is on the promotion, or the focus is on the glory that comes as a byproduct of that opportunity. And that's why I think, again, going back to what Furan said, it's very important to see that incubation is just a start. And when you go through this opportunity of exploring yourself, if you've made it to one blog or the other, that shouldn't keep you from growing again and again, and growing further and more. And the other most amazing story that I have here is when I met a girl online in 2001. Now she happens to be my wife. It was a very random click that happened. It's not something to be proud of, but it's a story that connected. Because to see the internet, to see the web, to see the digital technologies for what possibilities that they can create for you will change your life. And that's the mindset I want to leave you with. And people around me in my community know that I'm a big fan of Apple and Steve Jobs. But one of the things that's really important to learn from, that actually Steve said at one of his last keynotes, is that technology is not enough. It's technology married with liberal arts, married with the humanities, that yields us the results that make our hearts sing. And I've been trying to evangelize this in Pakistan. It's hard to make someone understand because the focus is always on the technology. The focus is not on the humanities. The focus is not on the liberal arts. Because we keep thinking कि यार हम किसी के लिए वो ऐप बना देंगे और उससे वो कुछ कर लेगा. हमें बस ये नहीं पता कि वो क्या कर लेगा और उससे उसकी जिंदगी पे क्या फर्क पड़ता है. And digitalization can never be achieved unless we are connecting not just people to people, not just people to devices, but connecting people to opportunities. Sequentially, if you were to look at it, and Facebook does this, Google does this, there are three main areas that you need to conquer if you want to achieve true digitalization in your ecosystem. The first one being accessibility. The second one being affordability. The third one being awareness. And when we talk about accessibility, so Pakistan is at a stage where it's making a lot of progress. If you look at the internet statistics right now, you will see that Pakistan is around 20%, almost 17 to 18%. Sorry, the screen might not be clear to you guys. But I want you to see the growth. This chart online be available. You can just go and look at it, and look at the growth that's happening. So जो last हमने सबसे ज़्यादा growth देखी थी, वो देखी थी 2014 में. Year-on-year growth की मैं बात करूँ. Why was that? What happened in 2014?
4G.
3G or 4G? Yes, 3G came in, and everything changed. So while the internet is growing rapidly, तो ये तो हमारा एक part है जो almost sort हुआ है. The first part of accessibility. So ये कुछ numbers हैं. You can go and look at it. You know, now we have 140 million customers on SIMs, 31 million Facebook users, जिसमें से आधा million is asthma from hospital or from executing. It's okay. We have an amazing year-on-year growth. 70% of the people are now using stuff on mobile. So if you're building on web, if you as a startup are building for web, that's the first mistake that you're doing. You should be looking at starting with either a responsive framework or starting with just mobile. I did this mistake myself where I started building something for the web and just then found out through Google Analytics that even like everywhere, thanks to mobiles and all of the other devices, we're moving towards a mobile digitalization. So it's not about the web anymore. उसके अलावा कुछ statistics and these are done by VR Social, so you can go and look them up and you'll find these some amazing numbers. एक चीज जो मुझे थोड़ा सा one thing that I'm not happy about is that we have just, as compared to men, we just have 30% women online. So keeping in mind that if we were to create a product or a platform or an app or a service for women, it's not about connecting people to people, it's not about connecting women to women, it's not about connecting women to devices, it's about connecting women to opportunities. So do you have a product, a platform, or a service that can do that? Second one, affordability. So thanks to Karina and Q-Mobile, we have almost, sorted this thing out. Q-Mobile, आपको, the cheapest phone Q-Mobile that you'll find is probably at 4,000 or 5,000 rupees. So mobiles are becoming really, really affordable. And you have these, different brands coming in. But the second most important part is about finding अपने product की feasibility, viability, and desirability. And I've seen most startups in Pakistan work on two of these, but they always miss out on the third. So they would either work on the feasibility and viability and they would just leave out the desirability. And to have a product that's used by the masses, that actually people use, you need to be at the center of this. And this is something that we usually call as design thinking or human-centered design. So a word which is now very fancy to use these days actually has some really practical implications. And if you can use that, you can actually create a product which people will use. But this is my favorite part, because nobody in Pakistan knows how to do this. Not even the telco companies, to tell you very honestly. Awareness is one thing, जो कि is a very, very hard nut to crack. And I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening in Pakistan right now. So this orange layer that you see, this is communication. So we have given mobiles to everyone, and we have told them, hey, you can communicate with your mobile. So you can connect people with people, and you can connect people with devices. Which is why they are able to do things, जो कि इस orange वाले पे आपको नजर आ रही है. They are able to remix content, इसलिए आपको जो memes नजर आते हैं, बार-बार वो remix हो रहा था content. They are able to synthesize is that you are able to create Facebook posts. They are able to protect themselves. उनको थोड़ा बहुत idea है how to keep themselves safe. Compose कर लेंगे. So we have given them the community. There are 4 other layers that we are missing. So the purple layer that you see is the creativity layer. How many of you here actually document the things that you do? So this is about contribution, right? How many tech blogs do we have in Pakistan? You'll be able to name just 2 or 3. How many people they go and code their solutions? I'm talking about developers again. There are developer ecosystems, and because I work with the Google developers team on this thing, that's also one of the challenges that we have. Abhi aap nikal jaye to find good developers. That's always a challenge, to find good developers. That's why these are few ecosystems that we have not been able to build. Isi tarah, there are a bunch of other layers that we are missing out on, and I think if this works, that this is what we need to do. We need to create ecosystems which have more of these. तो हम लोगों ने एक वो जो skills वाला factor था वो बिल्कुल miss out कर दिया. So when we talk about startups, how can you build a startup? When you come to me and say कि इसकी digital marketing ये कि मैं Facebook पे एक image उसका डालूँ. How do you scale your startup with digital marketing when the only digital marketing that you have in your head is कि Facebook पे मैं जाऊँगा और image डाल दूँगा, and that's what social media marketing and digital marketing have. There is more to that. There is a lot of stuff that's going on in the 21st century skills that you need to be aware about. And unless we are able to achieve all of these in some form, we won't be able to get to the digitalization that we hope for. So the hardest nut to crack is awareness. And I can tell you this out of personal experience. So go to a kid, almost an 11-year-old kid, और उससे कहें Facebook पे मुझे जो है ना login करके दिखाओ, मुझे updates करके दिखाओ, he'll be able to tell you. And now ask that kid, try to find me the cure for a bukhar through Google. That kid won't be able to do it because हमने एक layer जो miss कर दी was the layer of problem solving and creativity. So that kid knows how to use WhatsApp. He can ask people. So that person can connect to another person through WhatsApp, through Facebook. But that person is unable to create a solution himself, or is unable to connect with opportunities online because we never focus on that. And that's, I think, one of the hardest nuts to crack if we want to get into awareness. Why awareness is important for startups is because you can never get to the conversion part, you can never sell unless you get through this funnel of awareness and consideration. So यहाँ पे इसकी सबसे बड़ा challenge लोग startups को digital sales में ही आता है because उन्होंने awareness level तक वो पहुंचे नहीं होते. Conversions पे उनके जो consumers उनको पता ही नहीं कि क्या बात होगी. Which is why e-commerce is easy to sell in Pakistan. People know कि हम वो ही जिस तरह दुकान से लेते थे online लेंगे घर आ जाएगी चीज़. But if you're selling something like a smart home solution or something like data visualization, तो आगे से जवाब आता है क्योंकि people here don't even know what you're talking about, what you're trying to sell. So I think digitalization requires a digital mindset, and that mindset composes of 3 main components. One is digital thinking, the second one is social consciousness, the third one is emotional intelligence. And the activity that you did in the start is social consciousness. To understand what your user really wants, to understand their values and loyalties and losses. I've seen that most of the startups here are really good at technology, But what they miss out on are these areas: psychology, music, activism. And till the day I think I actually see these people in the room with you, I think it's going to take us a long time to actually be able to track the hardest part of digitalization, which is the awareness. Because we just don't need the software engineers, the computer scientists, the programmers and the coders. We need everyone. We need the business people. इसीलिए मुझे issue थोड़ा सा generally ecosystem से ये होता है कि where are the people in social sciences? Why are they not joining incubator? Anyone in social sciences sitting in this room right now? Good. We have 3-4 people. And I hope that we can have more of these people, because if we need to crack that nut, we need to get everyone on the same table. And please don't ask this again, and don't, keep doing this, because this just does not make sense. App is the end solution. Try to focus on what the flow of your solution looks like. App is the end product. हो सकता है आपको app चाहिए भी ना हो. And I think we'll achieve true digitalization when you can help that soda wala make more sales through some digital technology. I don't know what that's going to be. You don't need to build an app for that. You can probably go and teach him कि अपने इर्द-गिर्द वाले जो लोग हैं उनका WhatsApp number ले लें and just try to send them broadcast messages every day. But if you can crack that nut of helping that soda wala or that chali wala or even that chai wala, I think we won't be able to achieve digitalization until that happens. And that's something that you guys need to think about. That is your solution, your app, your product, your platform. Is it able to reach out to the masses? क्या वो masses तक आगे पहुंच रही है? Because I think digitalization is not about connecting people to people, it's about connecting people to opportunities. So whatever you're building, try to see how your app, product, service, or platform is changing the life of the person out there. And if it's not doing that, it's probably good to go back to the drawing board. Because this is the Pakistan that we want to see. A very progressive but digitalized Pakistan at the same time. It's not going to be easy to do that. It's going to be a tough ride. But we'll get there if you guys develop the right mindset of digitalization. And this is again, I would like you to go and read this. And this is very relevant because this article was written for the World Economic Forum by the founder of Wimplecom. That to close the digital divide is key to inclusive growth. Let's start thinking about solutions which are for the masses, which actually solve their problems and get them to their opportunities. It's no more about connecting people to people, no more about connecting people to devices. And that's pretty much it. If you want to get in touch, do reach out to me if you need help with building the right mindset or the right solution. I think to get there is going to be, we just need to start with the right questions instead of the answers. And if you leave this room with more questions than answers, is when I think you've started your journey. So thank you very much.